Hi everybody, this is Rose, aka Kittenweed, and today I'm going to be going over some of my favorite plugins that I use in old school RuneScape. I'm going to be splitting them up into a few different categories. I'm going to be splitting them up into ones that I find useful mechanically, like very useful for just playing the game in a more smooth and more comfortable way. I'm going to be going over ones that I think are really good aesthetically or make the game more comfortable and cozy in that sense. And I have a category that's just some really, really good plugins that I think a lot of people haven't seen yet that are just in their own category. So I have a total of 15. Just stick close to the video, tune in, just kind of maybe play with your Runelite while I'm talking about this on the other monitor, or just listen along and I'll go over how each one works. Okay. So the first one is inventory setups, and inventory setups is pretty OP. As you can see in my bank here, it lets you set up an inventory preset as well as a gear preset. This is an alternative to bank tabs, and what's really cool about this, and this is the part where you get a special reward for watching my video, I will upload a paste bin of all of my inventory setups that I have. So I have a bunch for different bosses, I have a bunch for different skills, I have some for PKing, I have just like random ones. I'm just going to upload them all to the paste bin and you can sort through them and see which ones you want. But honestly, with this, it makes banking so much faster. It makes it so much easier for you to do content in the game. Just like here, you can see I have my CM one here. And I mean, look, like this is like a huge amount of gear. It would take me 10 minutes to get all this out. So that's pretty sweet. Inventory setups is very OP. You can also create subcategories on the side menu and you can switch between them. So how to make the filter happen is you just click the little funnel on the name of the inventory preset. And then when you click on the eye, it'll automatically load it in your bank. So that's really good. That's number one, just coming out with a banger. Anyway, yeah. The next one I want to show you is overhead notifications. Overhead notifications, basically, you can set it up to warn you whenever anything from a stamina pot to your Ward of Arceus to your anti-fire has expired. And as you can see here, when it actually triggers, it'll pop above your head, and you can customize what the text says. So you can make it say something silly or whatever. And that's really good just because I like to be looking at the middle of my screen. And that kind of goes into our next one as well. So this is a really quick one because the next one's going to be a little bit longer, and that is called customizable XP drops. If you already have this plugin, don't just like skip past this part because this is very important. There are a few features I just want to point out. So you can have it predict your max hit. If you go here, if you go to the XP drop settings, you can scroll down to predicted hit, and you can say show predicted hit. And then what it'll do is when you attack, it'll tell you how much you hit. And you can also scroll down and send it through your party plugin, and you can show predicted hits from party members as well. So that's really cool. It helps in a lot of different content, and I just find that incredibly useful. And that you can also move, I want to point out the horizontal and vertical directions, as well as the setting to set the overlay location to player. So if you set it in the side here, overlay notification to player, that'll make it so your XP drops show up in the middle of your character. I think that being able to just look at the middle helps a lot, and it helps you sort of have your peripheral vision set up as well. So I think that's pretty cool. Yeah. Next, we have another side panel plugin. This plugin is called Combat Achievements. Combat Achievements is just incredibly good. As you can see, it's just a menu basically that has all your combat achievements in a separate thing. I find it super useful as somebody who's going for combat achievements. I can just click on a boss over here and I don't have to open up a separate interface. So that's just really quick. That's just another really quick one, and we're going to kind of go back and forth like that. So the next one is the last sort of panel plugin that I'm going to tell you about, and it is the supplies tracker. So as you can see, it keeps track of the supplies that you use, And I find this really useful because sometimes you find yourself saying, hey, well, I don't want to use dragon arrows on this fight because it's too expensive. But then you realize that you have spent, 5 mil on prayer regen potions or something like that, or aether runes instead of combo runes, or cannonballs, and you're like, oh, okay. So it kind of changes the way you see a lot of content. It also tells you how much money you're losing from your deaths and stuff like that. Just overall good information. So that is the first section of the video complete. Next, I want to go into these plugins are crazy. Some of them are, like, I swear, I don't know why they're not, like, banned, just because they're so useful. So the first one is, and I recommend everybody install this plugin right now, it's called Instant Inventory. Instant Inventory works by setting your client-side actions immediately to you before it updates on the server. So if you change gear, you notice when you do like an 8-way switch, it'll move the gear all up onto your character, but then it won't teleport into your inventory, out of your inventory, and replace it until the tick registers everything. So this does that. It kind of circumvents that. So you can change all your gear. It also works with inventory actions. For me, it just helps me, like, sometimes I find myself waiting for the thing to update in the inventory because I'm worried that my action isn't going to carry over, but it actually will carry over. So instant inventory is really good for that. You can set up the changed milliseconds and maximum unmodified ticks to your liking. I would just keep it at 1. I wouldn't change it in that regard, but if you want to tweak it, you definitely can. Great. So these plugins here are going to be focused on the aesthetics of the game. The first one I want to go over is bank tabs. As you can see in my bank, I have little cute labels on everything with little icons above them that you can see as well. So that's pretty cool. And the way you do that is by downloading this plugin and then going over to the side panel, and you can type it out. It's kind of weird, but there's a lot of options, and you can set it up for your bank. Again, I'll put in the description the ones that I have and the setup that I have. So you can just load it in. So you don't have to worry about it. And you can tweak it from there. So yeah, you're welcome. So this next one is kind of a 2-in-1. It is the better teleport menu and the easy teleports menu as well. So both of these, and again, all of these are in the description. You can just go through and download all of them. When you look at teleport interfaces with this plugin, you'll notice that there are these cute little maps. I don't know, I like it. And the other plugin improves the actual menu as well. So if you look at like the spirit tree menu here, you can see that it's changed, or you can disable that option on there and use it like a map. So I have both of these. That way you can kind of enable and disable as you please. And so that's why I include those two together. But I personally like the maps. The next one I want to discuss is resource packs. As you can see throughout this video, I've had a resource pack on the side. This is a really awesome plugin. And you can see if you just download the resource packs plugin, it adds a little menu to the side, and you can click it, and you can get anyone you want. Personally, I recommend dank mode teal if you partake, and if you're just wanting to like be cute, I think Duckscape is really, really awesome. It is it has a good flat background and stuff, so it's really good and clear on the eyes. The next one that ties in with this is the fixed mode resizable plugin. So fixed mode it's called fixed resizable hybrid, and what it does is it also makes the menu look like how you see it over here. So if you PK or you do any sort of content where muscle memory is a big deal, the resizable option might not really be viable for you, but you don't want to like play on a tiny little screen. I play on a MacBook, so I want to play it like on the big screen. So I have it set up like this, and it's a sort of hybrid situation. So I think that's pretty cool. I don't know, like the appeal of this should be self-evident. You can change the color in the background, and if you want, if there's a space in the middle, you can put your boost bar in the middle there as well, and that opens up your screen a lot. I've personally fiddled around with resizable and fixed mode a lot, and this has been the thing that is really, really ideal for content. So I recommend that. But yeah. Okay. This next one is the last sort of aesthetic one. And it's crazy. So you might have seen on my window, if you've been watching my video, I don't really know what all the footage looks like, but you might have seen my chat doesn't look exactly as yours does. You can see that there are like sort of a hover over, like things hover over when I do them, and it doesn't open until I press enter, and then I can like separate between different channels. This is a plugin called Modern Chat. It's just in beta, but I highly recommend it. I am just going to, on the screen, put my peak settings that I did to set it up like this, where it just pops up one message at a time. I don't know if they intended you to be able to do that, but I figured it out. So I put a little screenshot of my settings for this plugin. I would just copy those over. I'm talking there, it's on the screen now. So like pause and do it, or do it really fast while I'm talking and listen to my voice like 20 times. You can do that as well. So that is kind of covers the aesthetic ones. The last ones I want to go over are just a few quality of life, like really, really simple, like couldn't really find them in another category, but are also like really, really handy and improve the game a lot. Some of these focus on mental state, and some of these focus on, and that sounds silly, but I don't know, I think your headspace matters a lot. So the first one is the affirmations plugin. You might have seen an affirmation on my screen. Did you know that affirmations are clinically proven to support your frame of mind? So you can read it out loud. My goals are valid, whether small or large. It's true, and that's true about you as well, person watching this video. So I know that's really silly, but remind yourself good things. Your love can heal more than any super restore. So I highly recommend that. The last two, I'm just going to be really quick about. They are the tool required plugin. The tool required plugin hides the interact menu on items where you don't have the tool to use it. So trees, rocks, and stuff like that would contribute to a lot of visual noise. You can instead install this plugin, and you're all taken care of. It'll like just kind of blank it out so you can't see it. The last one I want to show you, and I'm going to end it with a really useful one, is the Quick Prayers Preview plugin. So the Quick Prayers Preview plugin, all you do is you highlight over your Quick Prayers and it'll tell you the ones you have enabled. That's it. That's the last plugin, and it's a good one. So check it out. I have all kinds of plugins like this. There's a huge list that I couldn't cover for this video, so if you want me to cover more plugins in these veins, like small plugins that people might not really know about but are really useful, I would love to cover that for you. Anyway, thank you for watching my video. I just want to do a little outro like I do in some of my vids in the past. I'm trying a new thing with my channel. I'm trying to get into old school RuneScape content. It's pretty cool. I started school again, so it's just sort of like something to do in my downtime for fun. Oh yeah, and also if you stayed to the end of the video, comment a picture, or comment the best cat emoji you can do in the chat. And I'll pick one of you and I'll give you cow slippers and a red berry pie. So goodbye.